All right, it's 6 o'clock. We'll go ahead and get started. And, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Holloway?
Here.
Mr. Matheson?
Here.
Mr. Payne?
Here.
Ms. Reese?
Here.
Mr. Robinson?
Here.
Ms. Perkins?
Here.
If we'll all stand, we'll have a moment of silence, and Miss Reese is going to lead us in the pledge to the flag. Okay, Miss Reese.
Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Excuse me. All right, with that, we'll go ahead and start with our agenda. And first, we're going to do recognition of visitors and delegations, and we have a presentation of student recognition from Doe Elementary. Oh, sorry, let's do the Youth League basketball first, I'm sorry. Got it out of whack.
And
Yeah.
Holly Brown.
And Holly Brown's here.
Holly?
Hi, I'm here on behalf of Youth League Basketball, and we wanted to utilize the school gyms again this year like we have in the previous years. So I just wanted to get permission on that, which we'll be using Laurel's, Doe, and Round Creek this year since Mountain City is under construction.
All right, what's the pleasure of the board? I think
We
this
don't
is something we've done in the past.
Just get,
You just say
say yes.
yes, that,
hold
thank
on
you.
just a minute. What'd you say about Laurel?
We'll be utilizing their gym for practices.
We've always used gym.
I thought you all told me last year that you didn't, it wasn't,
Just for practice.
It's just for practice. They gotta have somewhere to practice during the week. The only place they play is at Rome Creek right now. But they gotta have gyms to practice. They've used Laurel forever. Laurel.
they can't play in Doe Valley?
We have found since after COVID, they narrowed it to one gym. It's easier for parents if they play in one spot, because if you have two kids playing, there might be one playing at Doe at the same time that they're playing at Rome Creek. Parents have said they like the fact that we use one gym.
I say let them use it, just like we did last year.
Sort of the consensus we're hearing?
Yep,
Okay.
you got it.
You got it. All right, now moving on, we'll do student recognition at Doe Elementary.
Yes. I have been spotlighting different programs since July, and I thought I would have the principals spotlight their schools going here forward, because they know what's going on their buildings better than we do some of the highlights and stuff. So each month you're going to have a spotlight from a school, and this month it's Doe. So, Margaret.
Dr. Simcox, members of the board, I appreciate this opportunity to brag on Doe Elementary and the teachers and students. We're off to a fantastic school year, and we removed those trees from the front. That's a view of the school from the front now, and it's opened things up quite a bit, and the front receives more sunlight, and we had it's increased the view and really looks good up front, so we appreciate that. Ever since COVID, we obviously have the data that we're trying to play catch up academically throughout the nation, but something we've noticed is that we're just now getting back to the way things used to be fall of 2019, and being able to have folks in the school like they were. We've had grandparents bingo night. Tomorrow's their Topper Stomper walk. We had a great turnout for open house, and people are just real comfortable being back in the building, and we're glad to have them. And it's been really good to see this year. Our curriculum's been, our school improvement plan is targeted to literacy and math, and we've worked really hard with that. The teachers are embracing the curriculum. We have new math books this year, and I think we're seeing results of that, and it's just hard to not overestimate how hard our teachers work and how hard the hours they put in and the time they put in to make this happen. And again, the school itself is a hub in our community. We have great community partners and maintenance, custodians, transportation, food services, assistants, and teachers all make that a part of just a really good situation. That middle picture is from Constitution Day, and we celebrated that. Kids learned a lot, had a good time doing that. The far right picture is just the floor. It doesn't quite look as shiny as it did in August, but it gets a lot of traffic. But again, maintenance did a really good job with that. On the left is Officer Bond, and he has done such a fantastic job, and we've enjoyed having him here this year. He reflects credit back on the Sheriff's Department and schools, so he's been good to have.
Good.
And I wanted to briefly say that our drive has been widened this year. It's helped with traffic congestion, and we just had the pre-conference, or the last one for the roof, that will be hopefully started in 2 or 3 weeks.
About a month, probably.
About a month. So thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to our consent agenda. We've all had time to adequately review these items. Is there anything that anyone wants to pull off for discussion separately? If not, I'll entertain a motion that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Make a motion, we approve it as presented.
Okay, we have Mike Payne with the first. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Holloway. Any further discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Mr. Holloway,
Yes.
Mr. Matheson,
Yes.
Mr. Payne,
Yes.
Ms. Reese.
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes. Number 5, Tisa Accountability Report Presentation, Dr. Simcox and Mrs. Wills.
Yes, one of the things that we're required by law to do every year is to do a TISA accountability report of some of the goals that we are utilizing the TISA funds for. We have to have 3 to 5 goals, and one of those goals has to be based on 3rd grade ELA. So Angie and I have been working on this. We've aligned them to our district goals, so they're very similar to them. Goal 1 is 30% of students will score proficient on the 3rd grade ELA TCAP assessment by 2026. You have to have goals for the next 3 years, and they have to have a 15% change each year. So in 22-23, we had 22% of our 3rd grade students score proficient. So over the next 3 years, that's where we got the 30 from, because they have to increase by 15% every year. And then we have to also, utilize how we're using TISA funds to support that goal. So we're using those to implement and support our HQIM implementation, summer school, tutoring, intervention programs. We have a district coach who is utilized to work with 3rd grade teachers on providing rigorous lessons. And we have professional development that's provided to both teachers and administrators. Angie, do you want to add anything on that one?
Can you tell me what the HQIM is? I know there's, okay, education has
It's
more
required by law
acronym.
now that we actually adopt a curriculum and we use a curriculum, and that we can't just use what we want, because parents have to know what their child is being exposed to. So that's been a shift for teachers. Some teachers like to just pull things and do their own thing, but really that's not allowable now.
So that's goal 1. Goal 2, we felt like should be based around math. Again, it's just like our district goals. So we are saying 26% of all our students in grades 3 through 12 will score on track or mastered in math by the year 26 on TCAP and or EOC assessments. As you can see, and again, when you're thinking about this data, this also does include, this is our schools and Connections Academy, because we have to, we're supporting them as well. So we had 18% of our students in grades 3 through 12 score proficient on math in 22-23. We have to show a 15% increase each year. And again, the way that we're using TISA funds is pretty much the exact same thing. The one difference is at the very last sentence, funds will be used to provide vendor support from instruction partners. We have used them for the past few years, and we have saw some great work through instruction partners at our schools. Angie, anything else? Any questions on that one? And then our last goal is based around ACT composite. 30% of our students will meet the ACT composite score, or composite college readiness benchmark score by 26 school year. We had 20% of our students who took the ACT meet this in 22-23. So again, we have to show an increase of 15% over the next 3 years. Pretty much the same type of funds. We have purchased Jumpstart and Analyze Ed programs to help with that. They have tutoring opportunities available at the high school. PD is provided. We have district coaches that work with teachers to ensure that rigorous lessons are being taught. And we provide ACT question of the day as bell ringers for all high school teachers. Dr. Long, anything you want to add on that one? So that is our three TISA goals. Y'all have any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Moving on, item number 6 is report from our student board member, Ms. Vanessa Perkins.
Alright, so I'd just like to start off with a recap of Spirit Week. I wanted to share some pictures from different costumes. Everybody had a good time showing their school spirit and getting to dress up. For sports, the high school won their football game 22-20 against Pigeon Forge for our homecoming game, and volleyball closed this season strong last night with their last game. I'd also like to invite people to go to the high school's play. It's happening October 20th, 21st, and 22nd, and there are the times and the ticket prices. They've been working really hard with their practices, I know. Some upcoming dates include fall break, the 9th through the 13th, and then we have a teacher work day on the 16th. And then there will be a pink out game, which is October 20th, which HOSA has been selling shirts for. Then the first robotics competition will be October 28th, and then Trunk or Treat will be hosted at the high school on October 31st.
Thank you.
Where's that robotics competition at?
Is it going to be here? Do you know where it's at?
No, it's in Sullivan East Middle School.
Sullivan East?
Okay.
Anything else? If not, moving on, item number 7, 5-year plan update. We will continue to implement prevention programs to reduce, eliminate non-academic barriers to learning and address the whole child. Programs that have a direct correlation to graduation rates, attendance rates, discipline, test scores, and overall general health. Dr. Simcox.
And we do have several prevention programs. You know, Ms. Miller provides a lot of things from the Family Resource Center. One of the things I did want to address, sort of pull out of this 5-year plan update, is our attendance policy. I know there's a lot of questions. Parents maybe sometimes don't understand why we have the attendance policy that we do. So a little update. The attendance policy that we have is state law. We're required by the state. Every system has this attendance policy. We are mandated to follow it. What the law says is a student who is absent 5 days without adequate excuse is subject to the LEA's progressive truancy interventions. That's where Ms. Miller comes in with Truancy Review Board, taking them to court if they miss more. She does a great job with that. A student who is absent 10% or more of the number of days enrolled in school is considered chronically absent by the state, regardless of excused or unexcused. Again, this is a state mandate. This is not a Johnson County law. This is a state law. And then the last thing, just to sort of make everyone aware of, a student who has more than 10 consecutive or 15 unexcused absences during any semester is ineligible to retain a driver's permit or license. Again, this is state law. You know, we're mandated to follow it. So just a little update on that. You know, I know parents sometimes don't understand about the attendance policy, but again, we are required by law to follow it. So just wanted to sort of highlight that a little bit.
Director, I'll
Yes.
ask you a question. Say a student's got 10 or 15 more days. Can you turn this over to the sheriff's department to,
Well, that's where it comes into effect with the second little bullet, the progressive truancy interventions. There's tiers that you meet, and that's in board policy. Depending on the tiers where they come with Aetna. You know, I think the first one is truancy board. They come in front of a little board here, and then she takes them to court.
okay,
So from court, then it's in the judge's hands.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Any other questions regarding tenancy policy or anything else that the Dr. Simcox has said. If not, moving on to item number 8. First and second final reading of policy committee recommendation on policy changes to the board policy on the following. And this references 1.60, which is the first and final readings. Policy 4.3011, fan ejection policy, beginning with 23-24 school year. TSSAAA will penalize any school who has a fan who enters the playing field or floor or attempts to end the play
Supposed to be
enter the playing area during a game or is ejected from a sport event. There's a $250 fine to the school. This policy will state that the fan is responsible for paying the $250 back to the school before they can attend another sporting event. And policy 4.3012 is anti-hazing policy. This is a new policy that maintains safe learning environment that is free from hazing. Free from hazing is, should I have to say, off students and staff or for students and staff members. Hazing activities are inconsistent with the educational athletic goals of Johnson County Schools and are prohibited at all times. Anything else, Dr. Simcox?
The reason we're doing first and second final reading is mainly due to the fact we've got basketball season coming up. And this law that TSSAA has passed, you see more in basketball season than you really do any other sport with them entering and getting called on by refs. So that's why we wanted to do a first and second reading. I can tell you all the systems in the first district from us to Morristown are adopting these two same policies. And of course, you know, we do want our students to know that we do not tolerate any type of hazing. So that's why we wanted to adopt that one as well.
One thing that I've seen on there, I'd like to stress, it is a minimum $250 fine.
Yes, yes it is.
That is minimum. It can be more.
Yes.
All right, do I have a motion that we approve first, second, and final reading of these two policies?
Make a motion to approve both those policies as presented.
All right, motion made by Mr. Payne. Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Second by Mr. Holloway. Is there any further discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Mr. Holloway?
Yes.
Mr. Matheson?
Yes.
Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Ms. Reese?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes. Item number 9, elect a new TLR, Tennessee Legislative Representative. This is the board member who helps track any legislative changes and updates and reports those back to the board, and I believe Mr. Holloway was our representative last year. So at this point, I'll take any nominations from anyone who would like to do that.
I'd like to nominate Joanne Reese.
Okay. Ms. Reese, would you be willing to be our TLR representative?
I will.
Okay.
She's done it before.
I move that we have nomination cease then.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Reese. Moving on, item number 10, second and final reading of TSBA required policy changes on the following policy. Policy 4.700, testing programs. State law now allows high school students to test out of certain courses. For courses with no end-of-course exam, high school students will be able to receive credit for the classes if they earn a qualifying score. Dr. Simcox.
Again, this is a required policy due to state law.
Okay. Hearing that, do I have a motion that we approve this policy and it will be the second and final reading?
Real quick, before we move on,
Yes.
is item 9, do we need to call roll on 9?
I think so.
I'll do whatever.
We can do it either way you want to do it.
I'm not sure what we're supposed to do on that. How are we supposed to handle
I
it?
just have to send her name in
I
to,
think it's just
to
if she's willing
TSBA.
to, if one of us is willing to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That,
Which also, if she's willing to do it, that keeps me from having to appoint someone to do it.
oh, okay. Okay. All righty.
All right. All right. Back to item number 10. This will be the second and final reading of this policy. Do I have a motion that we approve this policy?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve policy 4.700 as written.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a motion by Mr. Payne, second by John Holloway. Any further discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Mr. Holloway?
Yes.
Mr. Matheson?
Yes.
Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Ms. Reese?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes. Item number 11, approved lease agreement with Sharp Business Systems and Johnson County Board of Education, Laurel Elementary, for a 60-month lease of payments of $99.83, and I'm assuming this would be for a copier,
This is
correct?
for a copier.
It's actually for a Riser.
Oh, it's a RISO.
Yes, and the Riser is not on the state contract with Canon. That's why we would like to utilize Sharp Business Systems.
Hold on just a minute. If they're not on state contract, did you send it out for bids?
That's why we're bringing it to you for the contract. Like the money falls beneath the threshold, but we have to bring it to you all for approval of the contract.
What is your threshold now?
It's 10,000.
10,000? Okay.
And the risograph, we don't have to pay the copies, you know, you just load the old ink and paper system. But, we've checked with Canon, and Canon does not have risograph on their state contract.
Okay.
Do I have a motion that we approve this lease agreement?
I'll make that motion.
Ms. Reese made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Matheson, second. Any further discussion? I will add this is a multi-year lease, and it will require the county commission's approval to be able to implement that, so that'll be something that we'll need to put on the budget committee agenda for this month. Any other discussion or questions? If not, call the roll, please.
Mr. Holloway?
Yes.
Mr. Matheson?
Yes.
Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Ms. Reese? Yes. Mr. Robinson?
Yes. Item number 12, approve to grant authority for the Director of Schools to approve and sign any settlement agreements related to our social media litigation with Lewis Thomason and France Law Group, and to accept any related settlement funds on the school system's behalf moving forward. Dr. Simcox.
Yes, if you remember in January, our attorney, Chris McCarty, came and met with us regarding the Jewel litigation. I do want to let you know we received word on that today. Johnson County Schools will receive $4,746 from that litigation. Several schools across the nation joined that. There was several school systems getting money. This is a very similar lawsuit that's going on. This lawsuit deals with where they are filing litigation because of the countless hours that school systems are having to devote to counseling, discipline, and other issues stemming from the efforts of social media on teenage minds. So it's just like the Jewel one, except this is dealing with social media. If you all would like to enter that like we did the Jewel one.
Okay, and all we have to do is just sign this, they will take care of the rest.
They take care of everything, and then if they receive money, then we receive a portion of it, just like we did with the Jewel.
Okay. Hearing that, do I have a motion that we grant this authority to the Director of Schools to act on our behalf?
I'll make that motion.
The motion's made by Ms. Reese. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Payne. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Mr. Holloway?
Yes.
Mr. Matheson?
Yes.
Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Ms. Reese? Yes. Mr. Robinson?
Yes. Item number 13, approval of amendment to the Director of Schools contract. This is what we discussed in our work session. I believe we had ample time for any discussion. At this point, I'll entertain a motion that we move forward to make this amendment to her contract. I have a motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve the amendment.
Okay, motion by Mr. Payne. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Holloway. I don't believe we need to have any further discussion, but I'll still entertain any discussion. All right, hearing none, call the roll, please.
Mr. Holloway?
Yes.
Mr. Matheson?
No.
Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Ms. Reese? Yes. Mr. Robinson?
Yes. Item number 14, approval of recommendation for security window film with Tennessee Window Films LLC in the amount of $31,702.67, funds from Public School Safety Grant. And we had a bid sheet attached, which is item number 14, Dr. Simcox.
And if you remember, we did discuss this several months ago, and we were going to try to piggy bank off of Hawkins County, and that did not work. Where's Herbie? That didn't work out for us, so we did put that out for bid, and this is just the lowest bid that came in, and we will be using the public school security grant for that.
How many bids you have come in?
Two.
And you sent out 3?
There was probably
that we'd reach out to different vendors, but these are the only two that actually responded to us. We also placed it in the time law per requirements.
These are the only two vendors that responded back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we also reached out, there was one on state contract, but they were way high. They were more than 2.5 times more than what the bid price was.
And you did say that some other school systems was using this.
This is the same company that Sullivan County and Hawkins County is used, and they seem happy with it.
Make a motion, we approve the Tennessee Window Film LLC quote or bid.
Okay, I have a motion from Mr. Payne to make that recommendation of that approval. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Holloway. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Mr. Holloway?
Yes.
Mr. Matheson?
Yes.
Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Ms. Reese?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes. All right, item number 15, budget update.
The school department at the end of September was 9.1% of appropriations expended in general purpose, 17.2% of appropriations expended in federal projects, 21.6% of appropriations expended in central cafeteria, and Head Start, the fiscal year project, was 17.1% of appropriations expended. Sales tax collections received in July and August were $249,767. Collections were up $8,535 from the same months in the prior year, and there were no property tax collections in July and August.
Thank you. We do have an addendum, and at this point, I'm going to move to the addendum for us to be able to take, since it's an item that's going to require action. Everyone should have received a copy of the addendum. One item, it says approve Alpha Energy Solutions in the amount of $52,174 to remove and replace existing water valves in the geothermal system at Run Creek Elementary, and a bid sheet is attached. Dr. Simcox.
Yes, I'm gonna turn this over to Mr. Hanley. He's been working on this for several months. The reason for the addendum is all the bid process just came in today? Yesterday. So we do apologize for that, but I know Roan Creek needs this, so we wanted to go ahead and get that out there and get that for approval so they can get started.
Yes, as you know, we've been in the process of trying to upgrade the geothermal system at Roan Creek that's outdated. Started late last spring and early summer with the update of the controls in the VAV boxes to help control the airflow. This is to replace the water valves in that system, which the water valves controls how much water goes to where it needs to go. And basically a lot of the valves, whenever they installed the controls, they found a lot of the valves were non-functioning, and that's what we need to replace as far as the next stage in upgrading the geothermal at Roan Creek.
And this was your only bid, but they're the only one that actually came to the pre-bid conference, correct? It was required.
Yes, sir, is the only one that met the qualifications that came to the pre-bid.
Okay.
They out of Louisville, Kentucky.
They've got several offices around, like the southeast area. They do have a local office, but they do have several throughout the southeast.
Where's their local office? Where's that local office at?
Did he say to us if he was in Johnson City or Johnson City?
So there's no other bids come on this thing?
No, sir.
Who'd you send them out to?
Well, we advertised, we had two companies show interest, one only showed up. Had actually three, another one earlier on said that they could do it, but they never showed any interest.
You still need some paperwork to back that up to show them.
And I'm assuming that Denise has that paperwork.
Yes, Denise does have the paperwork.
I mean, I'm convinced that you've met the obligation of the law that you tried, and this is the end result. So as far as that's concerned, I don't see that there's any technicality that's involved with that. With all that being said, do I have a motion that we approve this
I make a
It's
motion to approve it.
All right, motion by Mr. Payne, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Reese. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Mr. Holloway,
Yes.
Mr. Matheson,
Yes.
Mr. Payne,
Yes.
Ms. Reese,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes. All right, we'll go back to our agenda and we'll jump down to informational items, director's report.
You had your Head Start and Pre-K information in your packet. You also have your School Board Academy classes and trainings. If you have any question on those, please see Serena. She does a great job taking care of you all. Just a reminder that we are on fall break at, 3:15? I bet Vanessa's countdown tomorrow. We'll have fall break next week, and then on Monday, October the 16th, students will not attend. All of the teachers and administrators will be in a required Niswanger PD day that will be going on at various sites. So just information on that. You Trust Appreciation for our custodians is next week. I know schools are doing either things this week or the week we get back. We do appreciate our custodians. They do a wonderful job of keeping our buildings clean. Mountain City update, no pictures because it's only been like 2 weeks, so there's not really a lot. You all could see they're still laying brick. We had our meeting yesterday. They're still on track, saying April, the end of April, that everything will be done. We're hoping at Christmas time. Ms. Triplett is trying to find furniture right now, but we're hoping at Christmas time those classes will be open in the old gym. So when that does happen, we'll have everybody down. And then just a reminder, our next board meeting is a week early because we'll be at TSBA when we normally have board meetings, so it will be November the 9th. That's all I have.
Any other items that need to come before the board for official action? If not, I will entertain a motion that we adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We are adjourned.